طيب الحاصل طبعا نبي نقدم المدير التنفيذي لمنتدى MIT لريادة الأعمال، السيدة الحاصلة على جائزة أدولف مانسون لريادة الأعمال، راح تعرفنا على أذكى 50 شركة. رحبوا معايا بأستاذة أنتونيت ماثيو. Please welcome to the stage Executive Director of MIT Technology Review, Mrs. Antoinette Mathew. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. Can you all hear me? It's a pleasure to be here in your beautiful country. This is my first time here, and thank you for hosting us. So, MIT Technology Review has been compiling a list of the 50 smartest companies since 2010. We don't count patents or PhDs. Instead, we ask whether a company has made strides in the past year that will really define its field. To make the list, a company must have a truly innovative technology and a business model that is both practical and ambitious, with the result that it has set the agenda in the field. So this year, when the editors of MIT Technology Review began our annual search for the smartest companies, we did not have trouble finding big ideas. Number one, Tesla Motors has had yet another audacious idea to go with its electric cars. In April, it announced that it would be spinning off a line of batteries in service of a very big goal, which is remaking the energy grid for industry, utilities, and resources. Of all of the sectors we cover, biomedicine has had the biggest year to date. Companies have turned research breakthroughs, many powered by genome analysis, into products that can really treat challenging diseases. By contrast, energy companies have been far less innovative, it seems to us. So that sector plays a small role on this list. One of the highlights we have mentioned is number 6, which is Sun Edison, which is now electrifying developing countries. As always, many newer private companies will make this list, but we do have a few giants that have returned that were absent in the past. For example, Microsoft is back on our list this year for its wearable HoloLens device that blends virtual reality with the real world. In addition, Apple Pay, which was mentioned by my colleague Kathleen Kennedy, is also back, Apple, for its well-designed smartwatch as well as its digital wallet service. All share one feature, and that is that they are innovations with impact. So today I'd like to introduce you to the 10 companies I believe that you will find of particular interest. First, Solar City. The demand for solar power is booming in the US, and this company has helped stoke that with innovative leasing programs for homeowners. So now they're building their giant factory in Buffalo, New York, and they're going from reselling Chinese manufactured panels to US manufacturing. So this factory will be the Western Hemisphere's largest manufacturer of silicon solar panels. And currently there are 177,000 US customers that are leasing Solar City's rooftop solar panels. Our next company that's featured is Voxel 8. It has developed a machine that can print both highly conductive inks for circuits along with plastic. So this makes it possible to do away with conventional circuit boards. The size and shape of which constrain designs and then adds bulk devices. So having created what it calls the world's first 3D electronics printer, the startup is commercializing promising new materials like conductive ink. So according to the company, its ink improved conductivity by a factor of 5,000. IDE is our next featured company. Worldwide, some 700 million people don't have access to enough clean water. And in 10 years, the number is expected to explode to 1.8 billion. So thanks to a series of engineering and materials advances, IDE produces clean water from the sea cheaply and at a scale never before achieved. 300,000 people will be served by the plant it is building with partners now in Carlsbad, California. And if you may recall, this was also a breakthrough technology that Kathleen mentioned in her previous talk. Our next featured company is Sakti3. This company's battery does away with the flammable liquid electrolyte used in conventional lithium-ion batteries. So it makes it feasible to use a different set of high-energy storage materials and therefore store twice as much energy. The technology could have many implications and applications, including electric vehicles, the range of really, which is only limited by the size and the cost of conventional batteries. So the appliance maker Dyson has recently made an investment in this company of $15 million, and General Motors is also a backer. Teladoc is our next featured company, and although there are some doctors' organizations that violently oppose the idea of remote medicine and are trying to limit the practice, this fastest growing telemedicine company managed a far larger than expected IPO. It's working with CVS Health, which is a US pharmacy chain giant that's rather innovative thinking. The company now has 10 million US members in its remote consultation service. So Rethink Robotics, I don't know if you recognize Baxter. He has frequented us at the MIT Media Lab quite often. This pioneer of human-machine interaction found that their first robot, which is called Baxter, didn't get the sales levels that they hoped in the United States. But their latest one, called Sawyer, is smaller, faster, and far more precise. This company has raised $114 million in funding. Our next featured company called Slack, beyond having a very smart and refreshingly direct CEO, also the founder of Flickr, by the way, his name is Stuart Butterfield. This communication tool is aimed at a broad range of sharing and discussion in work settings, which aiming to make communication at the service of effective work, rather than the chore that the email inbox has become for so many of us. So 300 million messages are sent via Slack each month. Snapchat is finding new ways to make what seemed like a kind of simple idea, which is disappearing communication, into something creative and harder to emulate. Innovative new formats include Snapchat Stories, which puts videos and photos together to tell a story, and a platform for media organizations that is used by ESPN, CNN, and others. 1 billion Snapchat stories are viewed every day. Imprint Energy has been testing its ultra-thin zinc polymer batteries in wrist-worn devices and hopes to sell them to manufacturers of wearable electronics, medical devices, smart labels, and environmental sensors. The company's approach is meant to make the batteries safe for on-body applications, while their small size and flexibility will allow for product designs that would have been impossible with bulkier lithium-based batteries. So their batteries are capable of powering an ultra-thin Bluetooth sensor at a width of only 350 micrometers. Uber, beyond its rapid global expansion and its wars with local cab drivers, Uber's dynamic pricing model is still an important innovation. It's testing ideas now like rideshare services and driver deliveries. Uber had over 163,000 active drivers as of December 2014. So what does that mean for you and your community? Where does the future of work lie? So where are the tech jobs? The 50 smartest companies have a wide-reaching impact on business and technology. But this also means that they have an impact on the future of work, shaping the tech employment landscape. Let's take a look at global unemployment in 2015. Here are some very frightening statistics. The number of unemployed worldwide rose by 3.9 million in 2013 to almost 200 million. That is a 6% unemployment rate. Some 23 million workers have dropped out of the labor market. The number of job seekers is expected to rise by more than 13 million by 2019. And here's the very frightening statistic. 73.8 million people in the 15 to 24 age group were unemployed in 2013. That is a 13% youth unemployment rate, and that spells trouble no matter where you're standing in the world. Around 830 million workers lived with their family on less than $2 a day. And some 370 million workers lived with their families on less than $1.25 a day in 2013. So it means now that work is in transition. The digital tech is changing work. And this means that machines will take over structured tasks. For example, data entry and analysis, handling documents, anything that requires repetitive and rule-based tasks. Machines will do things, people will do things that machines do not do well. Innovative thinking, flexibility, creativity, social skills, dexterity. So for example, choreographers, elementary school teachers, psychiatric social workers are all jobs that will need people for the foreseeable future, while perhaps telemarketers and tax preparers are more likely to be replaced. Let's talk a bit about the shared economy. These are now Uber, TaskRabbit, Airbnb, Careem. We're talking about jobs that will allow people to work on their own schedule and share profits with employers. These are taking root, and they're sure to be an important part of the future of jobs. But they do have their drawbacks, tax implications, greedy employers, insurance, etc. Automation, well, automation in manufacturing has been a reality for a long time already. But now it is hitting across all industries. Let's think about this for a minute. Everything about Uber has been automated. The billing, the fetching, Every part of it is a modern, information-centric company. What that means that is as soon as automated vehicles arrive, that driver will be easily removed, and Uber will not have to restructure any part of its business. It is estimated 500 years from now, says venture capitalist Steve Jurvetson, that less than 10% of people on the planet will be doing paid work. So where are the tech jobs? Expanding supplies of data and cheap processing power will obviously drive demand for IT specialists in a broad range of fields. So creative, knowledge-based work, jobs that are in science, technology, engineering, and math, namely STEM, will dominate the US Labor Department list of occupations, and that is continued to expected to grow through most of 2022. Whoops. So here's just a list of some of the jobs that are expected to grow the fastest over the next 7 years. 14 of the 35 fastest growing fields are in STEM. Across STEM, very few fields are declining. Again, people will do things that machines don't do well. Innovative thinking, flexibility, creativity, social skills, and dexterity. And in closing, here's a map of where the world's biggest innovation clusters lie, just some of them. New technologies can be disruptive, but they're creating entirely new fields, new companies, and thus new jobs. And look at some of the most prosperous regions in the world. Thank you.